you can't keep doing what you're doing.
You remember when we were kids, we worked.
You know, a lot of times people will steal your vision.
We've got to take a hard look at that.
As long as you're moving ahead in a positive direction, you're going to reach your end goal. Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Rod Spratley and this is my lovely wife, Jennifer Spratley. And we're coming to you today and we're just excited about the information and what we're going to be bringing to you. We're going to be talking about success and how to have success in life and just how to get over those hurdles and things that have really been plaguing you and keeping you down, right?
Well, let's tell them where we are. We're excited to be out here this
morning.
We
are.
We're in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Stone Mountain. This is our first. We've been in Georgia for 6 months.
Yeah.
And we've heard a lot about Stone Mountain, but we got an opportunity to come out to Stone Mountain this morning.
And
so we're very
beautiful. The weather is amazing.
Gorgeous.
The weather's amazing.
So we're coming to you from Stone Mountain, and we're going to. We had a show, our previous show. We really discussed some of the things about what was really happening in the economy and how a lot of people are suffering financially. A lot of things are going on that has really hurt a lot of families. So one of the things that we hope to do with our show is to just bring you some encouragement, to give you some pointers and things that you can do to start kind of elevating you out of that hole if you found yourself in kind of a low spot, and just be encouraged because things won't stay bad if you take action, right?
That's true. And we know that a lot of us are having financial trouble right now in this economy, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that and some things that you can do to bring yourself out of the situation that you might find yourself in. And even if your situation isn't bad, how you can find yourself in a better position.
That's right.
So we're going to talk about financial stewardship.
Right.
And one of the things that we want to focus on today is getting out of debt.
Yeah.
This is something we need to do whether the economy is good or whether
Very
it's bad.
important. Very
but because
important.
the economy is not particularly good at this time, I think that is illuminated. It's like if you're in debt, then it's like triple what it would have been, just a few years ago. And so we need to talk a little bit about how we can be better stewards over what God has given us, over our finances.
That's right.
And one of the things that we absolutely need to talk about is waste, how we can stop wasting money, how we can stop the waste in our lives. There's so many areas in our life where we actually waste and we're not realizing that we're wasting. And so, on our next show, what we can do is show them how they can take these fragments, because Jesus talked about fragments in the Bible. In the book of John, remember when he fed the 5,000 people and there was a lot left over and he said, listen, go back and get the fragments. And from those fragments, they were able to get 12 baskets.
That's right.
Of leftovers.
And I read something recently. Those baskets, we're not talking little baskets like we're used to. These baskets were huge.
Right.
These baskets were large enough, from my understanding from doing a little study, that you could actually put a small person in. These were big baskets.
Right.
So when they collected up 12 baskets of leftovers that they were just planning on leaving there, waste. What they thought was waste.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things, and we got into that a little bit. So I'm going to ask you to kind of expound on that, because we do a teaching throughout this series that we do that really gets into the nuts and bolts of how to actually save some money. How to actually look at and take your current budget and go in there right now and start shaving off and figuring out ways that you can cut some out of your budget, some dollars that you could then take and apply to some of those areas and things that you need to get paid off.
While we can speak so clearly about it is because we had to look at every area of our life where we were wasting.
We did.
And it's amazing how you waste in places where you don't realize you do. Let's start off with one, food. Okay, everybody has to eat, right?
Yeah.
But do you realize that we waste a lot of money where food is concerned? And you might think, well, no, I go to the grocery store when I need to and we eat the food, but I know for certain that there's food right now in your refrigerator that has gone bad, and when you get home or this weekend when you clean out your refrigerator, you're going to end up throwing away a lot of that food.
Right. That's right.
And that's waste. We spend a lot of money when we eat out.
Yeah, we do. Which is something we should love to do.
And when you go to work, instead of packing your lunch, you tend to like say, well, you know what, it's only $5 or $10. It's probably more like $10 or $12 when you go and eat out lunch every day. If you were eating out lunch every day at work, I mean, you could spend $50, $60 a week.
Yeah, easily.
And if you and your spouse are doing the same thing, it could be $100 a week just for lunch.
Right, that's right.
A lot of money.
And one of the things that we started doing when we were having these challenges ourselves financially, we wanted to really start looking at cutting money. That was a good point, because we saw immediately, and it's just for our own personal budget in a household of 6, because we had children, our own personal budget, when we would go out and say take the family, you know, we were talking, it was over 100.
Wow. And we love to eat out. We love to eat.
Oh, absolutely.
Period. We love to eat.
But one of the things that we saw, and even remember our kids when we started telling them, we would go out and say, hey, we're going to eat and you guys need to split a meal, and they act like we had just, it was the most, we were the most horrible parents in the world.
Well, you just mentioned one thing about food.
Right.
We learned to split a meal.
That's right.
That was a huge savings, because we knew we liked to eat out, so we cut back the number of times that we ate out. But at the same time, when we did go out to eat, we would split a meal.
We would.
And that would save us a lot of money, because before that, everybody would get a drink, either a flavored lemonade or tea, or everybody would get a soda, and everybody would get an entree. We might even have an appetizer beforehand, and then after the entree, we would get dessert, and we didn't need all that food. Most of it we'd end up either
taking home or throwing away. It'll be in the refrigerator for days, and we forget it was in there.
Exactly.
You know, so that was one, and there was a few others that we talked about, and I know we can't go through all of them, but I wanted to actually, when we do these and bring these this information to folks, we want to actually give them something that they can see, that they can grab a hold to, that it's not really unrealistic for you to be able to start looking at ways even right now where you could find money.
Right.
Okay, and what were some of the other ways and some of the other things that we did?
Well, we can look at cell phones.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah.
Cell phones is a luxury that all of us have been able to enjoy. But if you notice, over the years, the cost of a cell phone has been slowly rising. And then every time you turn around, there's a new cell phone, there's a new plan.
And then you got to have it, right?
And you got to have it, right?
You got to have the
But
new
you really don't have to have it, right? So here's a quick example. We just recently switched our cell phone from a well-known provider that was costing us like actually wrote it down. It was like $130 a month.
Yep,
okay,
that was.
And
which was the data package with the unlimited and all that. Yeah,
it was a
smartphone,
right? A smartphone with the ability to have unlimited texting and, of course, access to the internet and all the other bells and whistles, everything that everybody wants.
Right.
Well, there's a way you can have that for a whole lot less. So we ended that service because we don't like contracts. We don't like to be locked into any sort of particular thing. When we want to get out, we want to get out. So we waited until the contract ended. And when the contract ended, we stopped that service, and we got a new cell phone, one that you can buy outright.
That's right, we did. We did.
And our monthly plan is now
how much?
$45 a month.
Wow.
So we went from $130 to $45 a month.
I got a question for you. So, no, because you know there's some people, but because we've heard this, and you know when we counsel people and we try to help them with their finances, but I need this particular provider because they've got the best coverage, or I need this because you know they have the better phone. Now we have to honestly say, because we've been with both, the phone that we have, we've not really lost any calls. There's not been any real glitch. And I asked this question of the gentleman that said this. I said, well, you know, if something happened and you lost a call, couldn't you just call back a little? I mean, you know, is it that inconvenient for 70% savings?
You know, you drop a call with the provider that has the best service.
Right,
I mean, you could go in a tunnel, you're going to drop a call, but it's only a couple seconds, and then, like you said, you just pick up the phone and you call back. You remember years ago, you had to go to the pay phone. So you still have the luxury of having a cell phone. You just have a lot less expense and a lot more money in your pocket that you can then use for other things. So cell phone is a huge expense. Okay.
So we had the food.
Right.
We had the cell phone, which is a big one. Cell phone has obviously been one of those that, ever since the invention of the cell phone, because you know when we grew up as kids, you know, cell phones weren't around. Right. But now, even our own children, you know, it's like if you don't have one, you know, it's like the end of the world.
Right.
So we're not saying that people should obviously not have a cell phone, and we know that most people use them and need them. But you could certainly look at that as a way to. We're giving you steps and things that you could save money. So food, cell phones, and there's others.
Oh, there's so many more. And I have jotted some of them down. Let's look at cable television.
Oh, yeah, cable TV.
Now, these are ways that you can save money and still have the things that you want,
right,
but just to cut back on
right,
it. So we're not saying
right,
to eliminate it altogether.
Right.
Cut back on it so that you can save the money to do other things with. Now let's talk about the cable TV.
Yeah, cable. This is a big one.
We had all the bells and whistles on our cable television.
Yeah, most people probably do,
right,
really. They get the premium package, which I think
channels?
It's called the premium package.
Is that what it is? Premium?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It depends on who you're
or
with,
maybe now it even
whether
has
you're satellite or cable. But if you've got that package, you know you got everything. You've
right.
got, you know, every channel,
HBO,
all the sports.
Cinemax.
Put it this way: you've got so many channels. Even if you stayed home for a month, you couldn't, and you didn't leave the house, you could not watch
but you know
every
what's
program.
Funny? What's funny is that you have all these channels, right? And then you still sit there with the remote going, there's nothing on television, there's nothing on television, there's
right.
nothing on television. And yet the bill is steadily coming in the mailbox every month for $189 for channels that you're not even watching.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think what I remember us doing was this. We looked at our package, which was probably about that. I think we were paying $169 a month.
Right.
Now we're walking you through this because we want people to understand realistically you can do this. And we're not talking about eating beans every day or something like that. We're talking about just where the waste is.
Beans are good though.
Okay, but that's where the waste. We're talking about dealing with waste.
Exactly.
And what we really have to do if we want to come out of a hole is we got to deal with what's the root of the problem.
Right.
And the root of the problem for so many is we waste too much and we're not responsible or we're not good stewards.
Right.
Okay. And all these principles that we use, these are biblical principles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if we understand that, you know, of course, God knows best, and He gave us the answer.
Exactly.
Okay. And if we will take the principles that He's already given us,
mm-hmm.
and we will start applying those, we'd see ourselves quickly come out of something.
Mm-hmm.
But with that cable bill, I remember this. We looked at it, and I believe it was $149, $169, and we were thinking, well, you know, we want to get the inspirational channel, and we want to get the sports, and so we started thinking, well, you know, we really can't cut it. There's no way we can cut it. Well, the long and short of it was, we were able to keep the few channels that were really important to us, and still have service. And look, what's wrong with Redbox or something for renting a movie?
Redbox is wonderful.
And we
for
cut
$1 you can watch a movie.
We cut our cost down to, I believe, $49 a month. Mm-hmm. That's over the savings. I mean, we're talking hundreds of dollars here between the food, between the cable, and between the telephone. We've almost identified in the average family $300 a month.
And that's
okay.
Huge. That's a huge thing. And you know, and the thing is, Pastor Rod, people think, oh, I don't have enough money. I need to get another job to be able to pay my bills. When if you just start right in your home, cutting back on what you already have, you can save money. You can get a raise right there by cutting back.
You can give yourself a raise.
You can give yourself a raise.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Pastor Rod Spratley, and this is my lovely wife, Pastor Jennifer. And we just want to invite you to go to our website.
Our website is www.kingdomlifechurch.org.